This movie's not smart enough to do that.
No, but I think okay, I would not claim that it is an adaptation. I would say it's a loose adaptation.
Yes, but they claim it's an adaptation. Okay.
But it shouldn't be.
No,
Because
but
if
it claims it's an adaptation. I
But
know
it's a
you
loose
say
adaptation.
I agree it shouldn't be, and I agree it's a loose adaptation. But no, they claim it's a hardcore, straight up modern adaptation of Much Ado About Nothing.
Well, if we're doing that, then they dum-dums. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Flip the Scripts and Adaptations podcast. My name is Ankit Madeira.
And I'm Stephen Nyman.
And we are back this week with a new adaptation that we are looking at, which is, Stephen, I think it's one of your favorite plays. Yes?
Yes, Much Ado About Nothing. William Shakespeare, one of William Shakespeare's greatest comedies of all time.
Yeah, it's a very fun one. I have my thoughts on Shakespeare, but we'll get to that, I'm sure.
You've performed at the Globe, buddy. I hope it's positive.
My thoughts on Shakespeare are thus. I absolutely love watching it. I absolutely love performing it. I love dissecting it and sitting down and getting to work with it. I hate reading it.
You know what? That's fair, because Shakespeare's not meant to be read. For all those watchers who are like, yeah, I agree with Ankit, you're 100% correct. As a theater major, as a person who's going to be teaching theater and drama, Shakespeare is not supposed to be read.
No!
I don't care what your English teacher says. Shakespeare is supposed to be listened and performed, because the way Shakespeare wrote, I'm just going to get into a little backstory of this man really quick. He's amazing.
Well.
He used to give everybody their own separate piece of paper or something in that realm with just their lines on it with like a cue line. You would not get the full script. So his actors did not have the full story when they were performing. They would get their part. He would then rewrite up to the day of the performance and change their lines. And because Shakespeare's stories were so universal, so loved, Queen Elizabeth herself, of course, made him such a big star in that time in England. Of course, the Globe was in Suffolk, which is not London at the time.
No.
There's a really interesting story about how the Globe came to be, which might come up in these episodes, because I'd rather talk about that sometimes than this movie. So the movie that we've been kind of beating around the bush, recently in 2024, this movie came out, or 2023, one or the other.
2023.
Okay, in 2023, Sydney Sweeny, who's an up-and-coming star, rising star.
I'm pretty sure she just is a star, buddy.
Yeah. She's Madam Web, which was terrible, but she's the only one who's come out unscathed of that debacle.
I haven't seen it, so I cannot comment.
I haven't seen it either. I just know people hate it. And so she did a movie called Anyone But You. Now, Anyone But You is a rom-com comedy, the usual, with Glen Powell. And I was like, it could never be done. It's not an adaptation, until they advertise it, and they do talk about it as an adaptation of Much Ado About Nothing, and they sell it as such. And when I told Ankit that, Ankit said, well, we have to do it. So it is a modern...
No. I did not say we have to do it. I said, that sounds interesting. We should consider it. And you said yes.
Well, also because people hate the movie, and I know that people hate the movie. I've heard people.
I didn't know people hate the movie. I just knew that Stephen didn't tell me that information.
I thought I did. I swear I did in the conversation on the phone. All right, maybe I didn't. All right, my fault. But people really do despise this movie, and I thought it'd be a really good opportunity not only to watch it because I considered it before, but also because it was like, well, let's see how well they adapted Much Ado About Nothing.
Yeah. So do we want to get into some fun facts?
Let's get into fun fact time before we get into, what the plot is.
Yeah. The plot of which one? Because
I'll tell the plot of both.
Okay.
But go for your whole Shababa.
My whole Shababa. Great. So first off, Much Ado About Nothing is a comedy by William Shakespeare. And, as most things that Shakespeare did, nobody knows the exact time frame of things. So it is estimated to have been written sometime in the late 1500s, so 1596 to 1599, roughly.
These are considered one of his middle plays for those who like to keep track of Shakespeare's beginning, middle, and end. His end plays are always the most challenging plays. We're talking Tempest, Winter's Tale. He seemed to really delve into very interesting subjects. His middle plays, he started with really good comedies, a lot of mistaken identity, fun stuff like that. Where his beginning plays are like Titus Andronicus and really getting his feet wet.
Mm-hmm. And so this play was one of the plays that was included in his first folio, which was published in 1623.
After his death.
After his death. It did make the cut, which, fair enough. It's been done many, many, many times.
I mean, the fact is, I think, wow. No. Did I finish? No. So in 2023, I had assistant directed the play.
Yeah.
Wow, it feels so crazy to say in 2023 is when I graduated from East 15.
Dude, I graduated in 2022. It feels weird.
I know, because it's 2025 now. I mean.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so I did Much Ado About Nothing with the BA2s. Shout out to Dino, Brad, and all the BA2s that I worked with. Well, I didn't work with Dino, Brad. They were in the other play. But shout out to all the BA2s I worked with, like Owen and those amazing people. But yeah, no, we did that in 2023. I think probably before the Sydney Sweeny movie came out. I wonder if it came out at the same time.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I do know, but I don't know.
Oh yeah, keep going. Maybe I'll learn.
Yeah. Maybe we'll learn, right? So now that's Much Ado About Nothing. Very popular play. One of his classics. Well, they're all classics. Shakespeare. Probably before, Stephen, based on this. So Anyone But You. It's a film.
No, it's a movie. There's a difference between a film and a movie. It's a movie.
Okay, it's a movie. It's a movie. Now,
film, I would consider a film would be The Godfather, something that's critically acclaimed. Lord of the Rings are films.
Oh, this is a movie? That's what the differentiation is?
In my head. Some people are going to be... Some film buff out there is going to be really mad at me about that, but that's in my head.
Dude, I just thought they were interchangeable this entire time, so...
I think they're not. I think film and movie are totally different. I think film is a specific type of movie.
That's fair.
I mean, also, if you really want to get down to it, nothing's filmed on film anymore. Everything's digital.
I also do think it matters where you live in the world.
That's true.
Because I think other places might still just call them films.
Yeah, well, the last movie that was shot specifically on film. Well, I mean, Oppenheimer did a lot with film as well.
A lot with film.
Yeah. Well, before Oppenheimer, tried to be brilliant, and it was. I'm not saying it wasn't. Before Oppenheimer wanted to be brilliant and do film again. The last one was Pulp Fiction.
Oh, I've seen that one now.
Yeah. Oh, lovely movie.
It was fine.
Disappointed.
Yeah, what else is new?
Yeah, I know. All right, keep going.
I mean, if you want to listen to my thoughts on that, go check out post finale. Anyway, so Anyone But You was a 2023 romantic comedy film. This is a quote from the incredible source of Wikipedia, but it says film, Stephen.
Okay, that's fine. They can call it whatever they want. I will call it what I want to call it, and it's a movie.
It's fine. I just thought I'd tell you the quote on Wikipedia.
I do not recommend anyone watch this. This is the one time I'm like, don't watch it. It's fine.
Hey,
just hear us talk about it.
Here's what I will say. It was a lovely time pass movie.
I feel like I wasted an hour and 45 minutes of my life.
No. It's not a pastime movie. It's a time pass movie.
Okay. Keep going.
It's okay. For those that understand, they understand. So it is directed by Will Gluck, and the screenplay is by Ilana Wolpert and Will Gluck, and the story is by Ilana Wolpert. I might be mispronouncing that, but I hope I am not.
That's fine.
What do you really want to know here, Stephen?
IMDb, Rotten Tomatoes. Let's go.
Let's
get those opinions.
Let's get those opinions. So, we'll do IMDb first.
Yeah.
IMDb has 134,000 opinions.
I did see some Google reviews of this movie, by the way, earlier as well.
That's okay. That's okay. What do you think collectively those 134,000 individuals rated this?
I want to give it a 2 out of 10.
Steven, think about the general viewing public and try again.
4 out of 10.
Yeah, I got a 6.1 out of 10.
You dog shit. I don't care how it has to bleep that. That's fucking horse shit. Everyone's just so happy Sydney Sweeney's in it.
All right. Let's head over to Rotten Tomatoes. And then we'll get into the budget.
Okay. How much did they spend on this?
Oh, no. Hold on. You got to get this. Do you want the tomato meter first or do you want the popcorn meter first?
Tomato meter. Let's go for the critics. Maybe
Great.
the critics.
So the critics, 116 reviews. What do you think the critics said, Stephen?
30% rotten.
54%.
Really? Rotten or fresh?
Oh, this is rotten.
Oh yeah. I don't know when it turns to like rotten or fresh.
Well, I mean, okay. So in all of the so in the top critics, it's a 44%.
Okay.
That's 32. Okay, and that's 14 fresh and 18 rotten.
Wow.
Right.
Yeah.
And then when I click onto all critics, you got 63 in fresh, 53 in rotten for a 54%.
Those 63 are lying. All right. What about the audience meter?
Now, do you want the verified audience or the all audience?
All audience. I don't mind anymore. I feel like I'm wrong.
What do you think? It is an interesting dichotomy, though. But
I want to say they gave this an 80%. I want to say they said it was the most beautiful movie in the world.
So
this is their Citizen Kane.
The all audience gave it a 71%.
Disgusting.
Hey, Stephen, you want to be more disgusted?
The verified audience gave it more.
Gave it an 87.
I don't want to live on this planet anymore. What's going on? This movie is terrible. This movie. You can like this movie. I don't mind if you like it. But what? An 87%? I don't even think Lord of the Rings got that.
Oh,
it's a masterpiece.
So, Lord of the Rings on Rotten Tomatoes. Which one do you want me to look up?
Fellowship.
Fellowship? Alright. Fellowship of the Ring, Rotten Tomatoes. Okay. Give the people some credit. It's a 95%.
Okay, alright, I can breathe now. But 87!
But anyone but you is 87%.
This beats like I think Great Gatsby was lower.
I think it was.
But Leonardo, are you kidding me, people? Is our film like our love of film like? It was so bad. I mean,
yeah, that Great Gatsby movie was a 67%.
I enjoyed that more.
Do you want to know how much money they spent and made?
Sure.
More than either of us have seen. The budget was $25 million US.
Okay.
They got their money back. What do you think they made?
40 million.
220.3 million.
I hate myself, man. I just can't. Like, you make a shit film and you make a shit ton of money. All right, cool, Hollywood baby. Ugh.
So, ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't put together how these episodes are gonna go, I feel like this is a good precursor. Steven, give us the plot of stuff.
So the plot of Much Ado About Nothing, the proper book, the proper play, I should say, is actually 3 plots. So there's an A plot, a B plot, and a C plot. So in the A plot, the soldiers have just come back from war. Benedick and Beatrice are at each other's throats. They're these 2 characters. Beatrice, who lives in Messina. This is where the play takes place, in Italy. She lives in Messina with her uncle, Leonato. Leonato has a daughter named Hero, and there's some love stuff going on. Hero is in love with Claudio is in love with Hero, who is Benedick's best friend, and Hero is also in love with Claudio. So there's a whole plot to get them together to get married. That's one of the first few plots of the play, as well as the prince, who is also Benedick's best friend, has a plan to basically get Benedict and Beatrice to love each other because they hate each other. So he thinks it would be really funny if they loved each other because he wants to pull a prank on them. And they're soldiers and they just come back from war. They need some relaxation. So they trick both of them into loving each other with a bunch of, scenes about that, and they fall in love. While the prince's brother, the bastard, is actually an evil villain, and he's used this to trick Claudio into besmirching Hero, and Hero fakes her death in the play. And a lot of stuff goes wrong. Eventually, Benedict and Claudio almost fight to the death over this one moment. And at the end of the play, the bastard leaves, has run away, did not get caught, while there are 2 marriages. So Benedict gets married to Beatrice because they are convinced they actually do love each other, which they do before, but we'll talk more about that later. And Hero and Claudio do officially get married, even though there was a false wedding in the middle of the play. So it ends with 2 happy marriages, and the threat of another war on the upcoming. Some people say that this play and Titus Andronicus are very close to each other because they start the same way with soldiers coming home. One takes the drastic left turn with a bunch of murder. One takes the right turn with comedy.
What do you mean? I don't see any difference.
Okay. I love this play. Much Ado is amazing. It shows that, what true love really is, what is love, and how easy it is to how easy is your heart to get hurt. And it feels the most modern in storytelling out of all of Shakespeare's comedies. It's one of the few that doesn't have real mistaken identity, I should say.
Yeah.
In the sense that, usually in a Shakespeare comedy, you have a man dressed as a woman, dressed as a man. Well, no, man dressed as a woman, or a woman dressed as a man is the proper way. So, like in As You Like It, Rosalind disguises herself as not Orlando. Orlando's the one she loves. Rosalind disguises herself as Ganymede.
That sounds right.
And then in Midsummer Night's Dream, no, doesn't have mistaken identity. Well, it does with the opposite love stuff, love affair. But it's a really fun trope of Shakespeare. Twelfth Night has the other opposite gender thing. Keep in mind, Shakespeare's actors were all men back in the day, so a lot of the men really loved playing those roles, especially when they were younger, because they could play the woman playing a man, so they could play themselves.
Yes.
So that's Much Ado About Nothing. Great play, love it, stamp it. One of the best performed. I think it's one of my favorite Shakespearean comedies.
It's nice.
Let's compare this to the plot of Anybody But You.
Anyone
but you. So there's this lady named B. She meets Ben at a coffee shop. And they fall in love. And then they have a whole day together. And then they break up when Ben says something stupid.
Well, no. You gotta give the whole. Oh, well, we'll get into it.
We'll get into it. They break up, and then they end up at a wedding of Ben's best friend to B's sister, and Ben and B hate each other, and they're trying to, and the whole wedding now has gone awry because they hate each other, and all the people want to stop them from hating each other, so they try to make them fall in love. And more hilarity happens, and more mistaken love happens, and that is the plot summary that I'm going to give you, because we're going to go way into more detail in the adaptation part.
I say we get started.
Okay, so Anyone But You. I hate this film. So first of all, it starts out with so many logos. I felt like I was watching Logo the movie.
Oh. I didn't notice it because I think I knew that there were going to be that many logos.
It
So I
was
turned
like
it on and then
5
went to the
minutes of
kitchen, got like
logos.
water, and like got like I was eating. So like
That's
I
fine.
got stuff from the kitchen and then came back like right as the film was starting.
It was like 5 minutes of logos. And then you know what the worst part was? And this is the worst part, in my opinion. I felt like I was the Peter Griffin in Family Guy episode where he's watching the ad and he's like, oh, this is a really interesting movie. It's an ad. Oh, this is it's an ad. Ah, this is and it's an ad.
I have no idea what you're talking about, but cool.
Ant will know because his housemate Chris Schroeder watches too much Family Guy. Shout out to him. So we start in an airport, but I'm wrong. It's not an airport, but it looks like an airport, so I'm happy to be wrong. And B's running to a coffee shop. We don't know her name's B yet, but it's
We
Sydney
find out very
Sweeney.
quickly.
Yeah, Sydney Sweeney is running to a coffee shop because she has to use the bathroom. Now, compared to the start of the play, which is just everyone talking about how all the soldiers are going to come home from war, one's a lot more interesting. So she runs into the coffee shop to use the bathroom, and the barista there is like, I'm sorry, but our bathrooms are for customers only. And she's like, that's illegal. You serve food according to the law. You have to have bathrooms open for all public if you serve food. And I was like, is that true? I really actually do want to search that up if that is true. Maybe in some states. I don't know.
Hold on. You keep telling them about the movie. I'm going to go on a quick deep dive on bathroom law.
Bathroom law. Ben, she's like, no, you can't use the bathroom. You need to be customer. Ben, good guy Ben's at the front of the line. He's like, honey, hey, wife, come over here and order something. And he's like, fake to be my wife so you can be a customer and you can use the bathroom. Ha ha ha. And yeah. And then they get the most obnoxious bathroom key I have ever seen in my life.
This thing was horrible.
So the key was the espresso holder with coffee grounds in it that were like glued in on a keychain, and I'm like, that's obnoxious. That's like, also, why is your coffee I mean, like, most coffee shops I go to don't have a locked bathroom, and if they do, it's a code. So, okay. She goes into the bathroom, and she's like, don't forget about me, and like, gives him her coat to hold, and he also gets bread for grilled cheese, and she spills water on herself, and there's this whole embarrassing moment where she's like trying to air dry her wet pants. She even calls her sister in the bathroom. Like, I met this guy. He's amazing. Oh my gosh, he's amazing.
Yeah. It was weird.
In the bathroom. That he probably could hear.
That's the part that felt weird, was that like he could hear.
Yeah. So she goes back in, she gets the coat from him, and then she just leaves. And I was like, oh, after all that, she just leaves. All right, cool. I guess they meet another time, I guess.
And that would have been so much better.
And then she turns around and goes, are you not going to ask me out? And I was like, And she's like, I'm Ben, I'm B. And I was like, yeah, how original. You just turned Beatrice to B and Benedick to Ben.
Which
that makes
that's
sense.
Fine, I don't mind. But like, oh, that line. I laughed because I knew what type of movie it was about to be the moment I saw that.
And then they go on a little date and they're walking around and it keeps cutting to grilled cheese. And I'm like, okay. Also, music. The music is way too loud. Like, you don't hear any of the dialogue over any music in this movie.
None, but grilled cheese.
Yeah. So B is a lawyer and Ben is a stock trader. Okay.
Sure.
So Benedict is not a soldier of the army, of Padua, and
He's a soldier of the money.
and Beatrice is not a ward of Leonato's house,
She's a student.
a law student.
Yeah, yes, that's what they're called, law students.
Yeah. Good job. Okay. Very
Thank
very
you.
well. Very
Thank you.
astute. So then there's a wrench in the apartment, and he's like, "Yeah, my mom gave me that, and it's a giant wrench. I mean, this thing is huge." And
It's
he's
an
like, "Yeah, my mom,"
impressive wrench.
because he's like, "My mom said, anything broken is worth fixing."
Okay.
And I was like, "All right, Shakespeare quote number one."
There's number one. Let's see how many we get.
Yeah, and then they go to sleep together on the couch. Now, not like sleeping, like they just sleep in clothes, like just straight up, just sleep.
Yeah.
I was like, all right, cool. Compassionate people, I get it. I thought this was a PG-13 rated film. I was like, all right, cool. We're not gonna see anything. I was wrong. It's a rated R film. So B wakes up before Ben and attempts to leave, and then realizes so she leaves the apartment. She's like, oh my god, and she leaves, and then she's calling her sister to be like, oh my god, I met this most amazing guy. We slept together last night, and I've left him. She's like, why did you leave? I don't know. I need to go back. Then she goes back. This was the most... Yeah. This was terrible.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you were not watching the video and you were just listening to this on audio, might I implore you to just, whenever you get the chance, and maybe I'll toss this up on social media, just that little section, just to watch Steven's agony. Oh, it's beautiful.
And then...
I am not... Look, I feel your pain.
Yeah.
But I am laughing at you, my friend, because it's funny.
Then B goes back to the apartment, and a guy is there who we don't hear his name because they mumble all the names in this film.
Yeah, hold on. Let me tell you his name.
It's Pete.
It's
right?
Pete?
That's what I got.
You got Pete.
What did you get?
It was Pete.
Okay.
I just wasn't sure. I just didn't remember.
It was Pete.
It was Pete.
Because I heard his name in a later scene.
Oh, okay.
But they mumble every name in this. So if I'm wrong on a name, okay, we're gonna have to...
It's okay. I have the cast pulled up.
So Pete shows up and he's like, "Hey man, oh yeah," and I'm like, "Oh my god, this guy's a terrible actor."
I will say though, he has a scene later, and I loved it.
Okay.
Now I'll tell you which scene. Scene.
So
We'll
Pete
get to
is
it.
there, and I'm like, it's themed like, oh, is he supposed to be the prince? So I guess Pete is the prince. So the prince's best friend.
That's who he's supposed to be?
Yeah. I figured that out halfway through the film.
Okay.
I've been slowly piecing together who's everyone's supposed to be. So Pete is the prince, and B hears Benedick be like, nah, she's nothing. And he talks trash about B to Pete because, she left. And he was mad. Like anybody would be if somebody just left you.
Look, I will say his feelings are quite valid in this moment.
But she doesn't feel that way because she came back, but he doesn't know that. And she overhears it and then leaves again. And then on the wall, there's a Shakespeare quote. And here's much to do with hate, but more with love. And I went, ooh, Shakespeare quote. It's going to be a Shakespeare adaptation. We're so smart and brilliant. Look at us.
Hey, I at least feel like it was a relevant quote.
Yeah, but the amount of... I'm going to get there. I'll get there. It's boiling. Now we get to meet a new couple. And they are the sister of B with Benedick's friend. And they're lesbian, which is cool. No big deal. But you don't hear their names in this first scene. They're at a club, and I swear I never heard their names once. I got to a later scene when their wedding was announced where I finally got their names.
Do you want their names?
No, we'll get there. I want to call them No Name 1, No Name 2 right now.
Great. Also, can I just point something out? that I just noticed on the IMDb?
Yeah.
So when you look at the top cast, you have Sydney Sweeny, B, Glen Powell, Ben, Alexandra Shipp, and then her character name, who we will reveal later because she's one of these two people. Mia Artemis, barista. Mia, I don't know who you are, but you just got 4th billing on IMDb. Congratulations, girl.
The barista got 4th billing.
The barista got 4th billing. Let's go, Mia. Fuck yeah.
You know
Sorry,
what?
Aunt, you're gonna have to bleep that.
This is how terrible this film is.
Let's go, Mia. Do it. Like,
So,
break through.
B shows that she's engaged, and I'm like, what? When? Why?
Yes.
How?
Yes.
Alright.
She's engaged off screen.
Yeah, and then the animosity they have with each other is really stupid in front of the bar, in front of all these public people. And I just kind of wanted to go, just go in the other room already.
Yeah. I do appreciate the sister. I think it was this scene where she just goes, so we're gonna go get away from this. And they just left.
Yeah.
I was just like, valid.
Then we cut to the wedding invitation. Now, all of that is just the prologue. All of that doesn't happen in the play at all. None of that is Much Ado About Nothing. None of that is. Now, one of the few questions that people always have is, what happened between Beatrice and Benedick before the play? Why do they hate each other? That's part of the fun of the play, because it gets your imagination working, and Shakespeare understood that when you get people's imaginations going and they can fill in their own blanks. This movie's not smart enough to do that.
No, but I think, like... Okay. I would not claim that it is an adaptation. I would say it's a loose adaptation.
Yes, but they claim it's an adaptation. Okay.
But, like, it shouldn't be.
No, but it claims it's an adaptation. I know you say I agree it shouldn't be, and I agree it's a loose adaptation. But no, they claim it's a hardcore, straight up modern adaptation of Much Ado About Nothing.
Well, if we're doing that, then they dum-dums.
Thank you. Then they do the wedding invite, and like the dad stands up, he's like, "I'm against this," and it's apparently at the wedding, like mocking a wedding. And it's like he's supposed to be against gay marriage, I guess. I guess that was like the point. But then he like turns it around. He's like, nah, actually, we're not having the wedding here. We're gonna have it in Australia. And this is where I thought the writers made the biggest mistake of, well, not one of the biggest mistakes in the whole bloody adaptation. They could have had it in Italy. They could have literally put it in Messina, in Leonardo's house. Yeah. And then we're staying at this guy with Leonardo. Oh, it's like, oh my gosh, now we're getting the actual adaptation. No, they're going to go to Australia because apparently Benedick's friend, who I still don't know the name of, we'll call her Lady One, who's getting married to Lady Two, who is B's sister. Lady One, her dad and her mom, her stepdad and her mom are in Australia and have this giant house. Big enough for all of them to live in Australia for a weekend.
You can have that same thing in Italy.
Yeah, I don't know what. I feel like they just wanted to do filming on location in Australia.
You can film on location in Italy.
I know. So they meet on the plane again, Benedict and B, and we find out that she's single again. And I'm like, what is the pacing of this movie? In the beginning of the movie, she's single, then she gets engaged, then she's single again.
Yes.
I know many people who work that fast, and I've never met anybody who works that fast.
I think it's like 2 years, buddy.
It does not explain, though. There's no 2 years later.
No, there isn't even that. Yeah, I think there's a random vague line where somewhere I picked up that it was 2 years later. And
he's talking to her over in coach, because he's sitting in first class. He's sitting in the proper seat. She's sitting in economy, and he's talking to her over the seat. And the guy next to her is an old guy. And at one point he just goes, "I'm sorry, Aunt, you're gonna have to bleep this." He goes, "What the fuck?" And I just felt, I was like, this old guy is me right now. This old guy's me. This is how I feel.
The old guy was funny.
Yeah. then this is where we're going to take a snack break.
Okay.
Because we're 30 minutes in.
Sounds good.
All right. We're going to take a snack break here. Bye, everyone. We'll be back.
Bye.
What's up, everyone? I hope you're enjoying the snack break. Are you enjoying Anyone But You? Did you like the movie? Have you seen the movie? Did you like Much Ado About Nothing? Have you read it? Have you seen it? What's your experience? Put your comments in the comment section down below. If you want to support us, please like and subscribe or follow us on any of our social medias at youtube.com/coopforge and our various channels such as on Spotify and Apple, where all the podcasts are held. If you want to support us and you want to see Ankit and I suffer, you can go on YouTube and subscribe to us. If we get to 100 subscribers by the end of 2025, we will be forced to do the Twilight franchise, which Ankit and I are dreading. So if you want to see us suffer, please like and subscribe. If you want to support us monetarily, support our editor, support all of the elements that make us able to do the show, you can support us on Patreon. The Patreon link is in the description down below. If you want to support Ankit outside of Flip the Scripts, Ankit is doing Oliver in Seattle. And you can find out more information by following us on social media. Thank you so much for watching. Now, back to our usual program.
And we're back, everyone, from the snack break. I hope you guys had a good snack. My snack earlier today was popcorn with chili powder and lemon. It was good. Lime.
Nice.
Chili lime powder.
I haven't had a snack yet today.
Oh, maybe you one after this episode.
Maybe, yeah. I mean, I've had meals, but not a snack.
So we cut to B on the plane, trying to find the bathroom. And I'm like, is this like half the movie? Like, she always needs to find a bathroom? Like, at this point,
so
I want to change the title of this movie to Finding a Bathroom.
So I don't normally watch these movies for the podcast with my family. But this one, my family happened to be home. Well, let's rephrase this. I happened to be home at the same time as the rest of my family.
Yeah.
And so we all watched it. And at this moment, someone, I don't remember who it was, either my mom or my sister, just goes, she always needs the bathroom.
So my dad watched this movie with me, and he left. I should say, my dad was a trooper, but he left 12 minutes before it ended.
Oh, no!
He said, I can't. This is too terrible, and walked away.
It's bad, but the ending's kind of cute.
No, the ending is still bad.
It's really bad, but it's kind of cute.
I disagree. We'll get there. But yeah, is that like she's trying to find a bathroom? She goes over to first class because all the bathrooms are like closed. By the way, in a normal plane, you usually can't just walk all the way out of your section to go to the bathroom. Like, you usually have to wait.
No, usually you'll just get stopped by a flight attendant.
Yeah, there were no flight attendants, by the way. My dad pointed it out. There were no flight attendants.
Yeah, I didn't see a single one.
So she saw a cookie on his plate, which is something he like teased her about earlier, and she went to go steal a cookie, and then she gets stuck. And then, they fake sex while she's trying to get unstuck with the
She's in
cookie.
Precarious positions.
Precarious position as the other lady lifts up her eye flap to look at him, while Ben doesn't feel a thing.
Ben not feeling a thing was the most unrealistic part of all of this.
Yeah. And she leans over and she hears the music he's listening to, which is the song I don't know the title of the song. The Past Is Yet Unwritten or something.
Whispers, I'll give you a title. Hold on.
Yeah, I find that I hate the song is great, but this movie has ruined this song for me.
Unwritten by Natasha Bedingfield.
Yeah, this song has ruined this movie for me.
Yeah,
this movie has ruined this song for me.
It's a good song.
It's a great song. I'm just really sad that this movie had ruined it. So he is so deep listening to his music, and then we go back. Now we're at Australia and everyone's there, and finally I get to hear the name Pete, and I'm like, Pete, makes sense. He's the prince. And I went, nice house. It is a nice house. And I was
It
like,
is a nice house.
It could have been
Also,
in Italy, but it's still a nice house.
I appreciated Pete when he picked them up from the airport.
And I found
Because
out
he had the balloons. Hold on, with
Yeah.
Pete. He had the balloons, and it was like, oh, yes, wonderful. And then he hands the balloons off to this, like, Chinese family and speaks to them in Mandarin. I think it might have been Cantonese. But he just, like, speaks fluently and, like, thanks them for the balloons, and then they go off. I'm like, wonderful. He is an intelligent human being.
I just don't like him as an actor. I didn't like his character the whole movie.
I enjoyed his character, but also I think I wasn't looking at this movie for, like, when I
Adaptation.
was looking at it, I wasn't looking at it for how well is it acted or anything like that. I was just looking at how does it do as an adaptation? Spoiler alert, not well. Is it an enjoyable film?
No.
And that was the mindset I went into.
That's a good mindset.
I had very low bars.
We run into the couple, and I finally learned their names. Claudio. And Hallie. What?
Claudio.
Is it still Claudio? Okay.
No, it's Claudia, but like she's meant to be Claudio.
And then Hallie, who is Hero. So, which I'm like, you didn't really need to change Hero's name. Hero is still a cool name. I'm like, I know it's not modern, but like, you didn't need to change it to Hallie.
I think it's just because they changed everyone else's name.
They changed Claudio to Claudia. That's a real big change.
Yeah, but Claudio isn't a common name anymore, whereas Claudia is still a common name.
That's true. But also, when you're doing Much Ado About Nothing, the amount of times I've seen or watched Much Ado with a Claudia instead is quite common.
That's fine. Also, I don't think Claudia is a major difference.
No, I'm fine, but I still love the name Hero. I just think Hero works.
I think it would have been really funny if they changed everyone except for Ben was still Benedict. And so the entire time everyone's like, Benedict!
Yeah, I agree. So this is not Leonardo's house, by the way. This belongs to Claudia's family. And I'm like, well, that's interesting. It's because Claudio in the play is supposed to be a soldier like Benedict and supposed to show up at Hero's house.
Yeah, I don't know.
So then we go to the beach, and Margaret is here. And I was like, well, of course Margaret's here because she's the waiting woman of Hero in the play.
Yeah.
No, Margaret is just a random cousin of Claudia in the movie.
Okay, so there is no connection, right, to Much Ado?
Margaret? Margaret's a character in Much Ado About Nothing.
But not the Margaret in the film is not the same character as the Margaret in Much Ado About Nothing.
I have made connection. So Margaret is Margaret. That's the one, like, they've kept the name. Okay. All right. And then Baraccio, right, is Jonathan.
Who's Jonathan?
Maybe Lo is Baraccio.
Oh. Okay. Sure.
Or Lo is Conrad, and then that would make Jonathan Baraccio. I don't know. I really tried to make the connections to Much Ado.
We tried, ladies and gentlemen. It got hard real fast.
It did. Well, Jonathan is the guy who B is supposed to marry, the one she was engaged to.
Oh yeah, spoiler alert. He shows up later.
Yeah. So Margaret's here, and they introduce her. She's on the beach, and apparently Margaret and Ben have a past, which is not true at all in the play. And then B and Hallie are gonna go talk about the wedding, and Margaret's there at the beach, just topless, because they really need to earn that rated R rating.
Yep.
Then Margaret puts her top back on and goes to meet Ben again, and they're like, "Yeah, hey!" And Ben's like, "Hey, we were partners once, and you left me." And it's like, "Oh, maybe we get back together." And then she meets her partner named Lo, or Bo. I couldn't tell, because every time they said his name, I felt like they said it differently. I couldn't tell it was Lo or Bo.
I am pretty sure his name is Leo.
No, it's not.
No,
Don't
wait,
tell me.
no, it's not Leo. Leo's the dad. My bad.
Yeah,
Leo's the dad. That is not the right
which makes
person.
sense because that's Leonato.
Yes, that makes sense. 1 second. I gotta find the right person, and I will
He's like
get
the
back.
buff Australian guy in the movie.
I know, but not everybody on IMDb has a picture, and it makes it difficult.
Oh God. I mean, he's like a main part of the movie. Why wouldn't he have an IMDb credit for this movie unless he really hated being in this movie?
Oh, it's Bo.
It is Bo. So maybe
Beau.
maybe he is Baraccio.
Joe Davidson.
B. Well, Joe Davidson shows up as Bo. I thought it was Lo because of the way they said it.
Sure, it's Bo. I did enjoy him in the film.
He's okay. Just the know nothing character doesn't.
No,
need to
but
be there.
as an actor, I feel like he understood his assignment and he delivered.
Oh, he did his assignment. Then we cut back to B, because she's part of the plot. And we find out B's last name, Messina.
Yeah, couldn't it just taken place in Messina?
This was the biggest, dumbest. I don't know how many times I'm gonna call this dumb, but it was just a stupid adaptation choice. Let's take the town we're supposed to be in and give Beatrice that last name. And then think they fake to be at one point the dad has a reference to them being Italian, and I'm like, well, what? All right, cool, whatever.
I don't know.
So she withdrew from law school, so that's the big shock. And family show up to push B to get back with Jonathan. They're like, oh, you should get back with him. He was such a good man. And I'm like, I mean, that relationship would matter to us if you actually introduced Jonathan,
Who's Jonathan?
No, but if you didn't just have a scene, at the beginning of the film where Beatrice and B and Ben meet, and we're like, yes, this relationship, and then the next scene she's engaged, and the next scene she's not. So this relationship doesn't matter to us at all.
I don't give two hoots about Jonathan.
I don't care. Also, because this is not in the play at all, because Beatrice was engaged to no man before Benedict.
She was a fierce, independent woman.
I don't get this. Then we go to a mirror scene where she has a tantrum in front of a mirror, and I'm like, this is the most stupid. I had an idea of what they wanted to do this scene and why they did this scene, but she's just standing in front of the mirror screaming and crying basically. My thought was, oh, this is supposed to reference a Shakespearean soliloquy.
That's what they were trying to do?
That's what they were trying to do. Did they succeed?
I mean, she threw a tantrum in a bathroom.
No, they did not succeed on it. They did the wrong. They could have literally just filmed the soliloquy and it would have been better.
But she threw a tantrum in the bathroom.
I could throw a tantrum in the bathroom. Do I look good doing it?
I don't know. Would you look good doing it?
I mean, I'm not Sydney Sweeny, so there you go. So Bo comes over and then they show up for a toast where they're gonna toast the bride and groom. They're all there for the wedding, and Bo keeps trying to drink his alcohol early. I thought that was funny because I know people like that, and I don't like people like that.
I appreciated that each time that Bo tried to drink, though, he did start to try and drink at a logical point for the toast to be done.
Yeah, it's true.
Each time it was they have taken a pause. This feels like a nice end point. Let's take it. No, okay. He wasn't rude and did not do it when it would not have made sense.
So then they do a weird toast where you just don't know anybody, so you don't care because you're like, oh, I mean, I don't know this relationship, so I don't care.
None.
The whole movie has not established any of these characters, mind you. You just meet them and you're just supposed to care about them.
We know a little bit about B and Ben, and that is it.
Yeah. Then they light sage.
Oh wait, I think we also know that Pete is a priest.
Yeah, which is also weird. Because I guess because there is a priest in the No, don't tell me he's supposed to be the priest that's in Much Ado About Nothing.
I thought that was supposed to be the stepdad.
No, the stepdad is Leo, isn't it?
No, the Leo is Hero's dad.
Okay. What's the stepdad's name in the movie? Because I never got his name.
Leo.
Well, then he's
Oh,
Leonardo.
the stepdad. Sorry, the stepdad's name.
Yeah.
Skylar? That doesn't seem right. Who was Skylar?
Is that the wife?
No, it's a dude.
Yeah, the old white guy. Yeah.
Josh Bonello?
Yeah.
Who's the old white guy that's... Oh, no, that doesn't sound like...
The stepdad. Is his name Skylar in the film?
No! I'm asking who is Skylar in the movie?
Stepdad's name and Anyone But You.
Hold on. I might have found it. Roger. His name is Roger.
Roger. Okay, there's no character. I mean, unless he's supposed to be the well, no, because there's no bastard. There's no C plot. They cut the C plot completely. They're trying to do the A plot, but very poorly.
There's a plot.
Yes. Somewhere.
Actually, it's a fairly clear plot.
They light sage to try to get rid of the bad juju between Benedict and B, and do it over their crotches as well. And I'm like, all right, cool.
Yeah, interesting.
Then they light fireworks, and then they play a game. And in the middle of a game of charades, they actually light a firework.
Why did they have a firework?
Totally Telegram, by the way. By the way, I don't think fireworks work that way. Because they squeezed it and it blew up and then shot fire. Where I'm like, but don't you have to light fireworks? I don't think you can squeeze something like that and it just
No, they
blows
did
up.
Light it.
Did they?
They lit it on the candle that was in front of them on the table.
Oh. See, that's how dumb that scene was. I kind of rolled my eyes and I missed it. So then the firework burns the flowers for the wedding, and Margaret rips off her clothes and puts it out because we really needed another Margaret scene like that. And that's the end of that scene, and that is the end of the toasting.
Yeah, they also don't burn down all the flowers for the whole wedding. They just burn down one little nice display.
One. Yeah. Also, the dad kicks the flaming bush at one point, and I swear I thought the whole house was gonna catch on fire, and I was like, that actually would have made the film a lot more interesting.
I thought that was what was gonna happen too. Oh, in this chaos, Hallie's hair also catches on fire.
Yeah. So then the people, Ben and B, go to the rooms and mad at each other, blah blah blah, and everyone's talking. They're like, we have to get them to stop being mad at each other. We should get them to love each other.
And by everyone, let's be honest, it's not everybody. It's Roger, whatever his wife's name is, Pete, Claudia, Hallie, and then what's the wife's name?
I don't know. She seems so important in every moment. She's the only one who has brains in this movie.
She is the only one that has a brain in this movie. It's Miranda,
who does exist is a character in Much Ado About Nothing. Miranda is another waiting maid for Hero.
Yep, that's the mom.
No.
She's Claudia's mom.
Oh, you know what? I think Roger's supposed to be Leonardo's brother, who's also in the play, Antonio. Maybe he's supposed to be Antonio.
Okay.
I'm still trying to figure out who's who.
I have lost track.
Then we get another Shakespeare quote, bait the hook, and well, the fish will bite. Which is from this scene in Much Ado About Nothing. The next scenes in Much Ado About Nothing are the boys convincing Benedick that Beatrice loves him, and then the girls convincing Beatrice that Benedick loves her. And then they have them meet, and then romance happens. So it basically played the same way, except they do it very poorly. It is worse. The play version is funny because they make it funny because it's all about Benedick catching them or not catching them, and them knowing he's listening to them. And same with Beatrice, where like in this version it's like, oh, we're eavesdropping and and it's the modern language just doesn't work here. Even though the dad, Roger, keeps trying to do Shakespearean quotes in the middle of talking, and I'm like, this does not work. Just stop. Just stop.
I liked Roger though in this scene because he kept trying.
Yeah. He just quoted Shakespeare poorly.
Yeah.
And
he just chose the wrong quotes.
And now we go to the other scene where the girl's trying to convince Beatrice that Ben loves her. But B doesn't fall for it because remember, she's a smart person. And she's like, oh, they're trying to get us to fall in love with each other. And I was like, wait. Where are you going with this? Because that's the whole plot. Like, that is... You can't, like... You can't just, like, be like, hey, we're going to do an adaptation. But you know the one part of the plot that, like, is the main part of the plot? We're not going to do that. We're going to make sure Beatrice doesn't fall for it. Where it's like, no. They both fell for it. Because they actually do love each other. Which is also adequate in your film. Because you could still sell that. And the fact that somebody have confirmed that they both love each other made them love each other more.
Yeah.
It's actually very realistic in the Shakespeare play. You've made it so unrealistic in this movie.
No. B's smart. B doesn't fall for it.
So then the mom shows up and's like, no, I'm going to fix this all. And she's like, why don't you go to the boat and get my husband's glasses? He left them out there. And so they go to swim on a sailboat. And, like, apparently, the actor playing Ben can't swim. So, like, he drowns. And she has to take him to, like... he's like, I can't do cardio.
Oh, yeah. The exact quote, I think, is, oh, my God, you're hot guy fit. I'm not hot guy fit. I just don't do... No, hot guy fit.
I thought she said hot girl fit. But, yeah, that's right.
Oh, it might be hot girl fit.
Because I thought that was funny. But
Yeah. I did enjoy that. And it was just like, no, I'm not hot girl fit. I just don't do cardio. That's the definition, my friend.
So they go on the boat, and they're finding the thing, and they're having a little bit of a romance thing going on, but not really. And then Jonathan shows up because the parents bring him. And then she's like, oh my gosh. So they decide to fake a relationship to beat over Jonathan and Beau. Because Ben wants Margaret, and apparently B wants to get back with Jonathan?
No, B just wants...
Not to get back with Jonathan.
Not to get back with Jonathan, and wants her parents to get off of her case.
So now they're going to fake a relationship, which is not the plot of this play. That is another...
It's the plot of the movie!
There is a plot where characters fake a relationship in Shakespeare. Do that one. I'm sorry, but if you're going to do... Like, oh my gosh, it just pisses me off to no end that you literally have the plot in your head. You have the book. You can literally go and read it. Modern version of Much Ado About Nothing, just follow the plot. There is another Shakespeare play where two people fake a relationship to convince two other people to love them. I think it's Taming of the Shrew, if I'm remembering correctly.
I think so, but I don't know.
It's one of them. But jeez, why? Why? It's stupid. So they talk on the hike how they're going to keep faking their relationship. Also the problems of B. All right, cool. Peter leaves the awkwardness of B and Ben because, B and Ben get to like this whole view and they're starting to be awkward and touching each other, trying to be all lovey-dovey to show that they're in love. And I'm like, this is why? It's not funny.
No.
But Peter leaves because he meets a koala. And
I loved this scene with Pete and the rest of them.
My dad pointed a problem with the scene though, and it's gonna make me laugh that you like this scene.
That's okay. I mean, I just thought it was
koalas are nocturnal.
Yeah, no, that's completely fine. Like, totally cool. Like, it doesn't make any logical sense, and I've thrown logic out the window of my liking of this scene. Ignore the stupidness of what is happening with B and Ben. I just love that they just said, you know what we should do? Everyone's not paying attention. What's the most random thing we can do? They just found a koala.
Yeah,
and
they're all staring at the koala while Ben and B are like playing with each other's asses.
Yeah, pretty much.
And eventually B finds a spider in Ben's ass. Sorry, Ant, you're really gonna have to bleep this.
Yeah,
She finds
and
a
we're doing
spider
a
in
rated
Ben's.
R film for the first time, I think, on
Yeah.
Flip the Scripts. You're gonna have to bleep a bit.
She finds a spider in Ben's butt, and then he gets completely naked because that makes completely sense, and throws his shorts over the mountain into trees.
I did laugh at that one. I was like, okay, because then she checks, right? But she does the smart thing, just checks and doesn't
Yeah.
throw his shorts. And I did appreciate him going, "Yep, you handled that a lot better than I did."
And before they go back into the group, because he's completely naked, she gives him her shorts, compression shorts, and then she's wearing her thong, and that is how the scene ends. And now we cut to Benedict trying to teach Leonardo, or Leo, B's dad, how to dive, because he doesn't know how to dive. We also learn that Ben's mom is dead, and Ben then learns that B overheard what he said to Pete back at the beginning of the movie. Ben apologizes and he's like, hey, but they're still not good. They're okay. They're a little bit
They're
better.
getting better.
Ben then has a scene with the naked Australian who shows him his anteater.
Mm-hmm.
And for those who need context clues, it's
No, you don't. Moving on. Here we go.
Well, no, there's a whole. I don't know why this scene exists, but this scene does exist. So that is the end of episode 1, everyone. This is where we're ending.
Oh, thank
God!
God.
That is halfway of the movie.
We're ending on Anteater, Steven.
ending on
Get this to the
Anteater.
people.
I'm sorry. This was a. All right, so that is half of Anyone But You. Come back next week for the second half, where Ankit and I will try to digress more about this adaptation of Much Ado About Nothing.
I don't know about you, because, here's the thing, is I feel like you have so much to complain about on this film. I'm just enjoying the journey right now, and occasionally pointing out fun, silly things, because, I'm enjoying you just suffering, but, in a good way. It's cathartic for you to get this out. You've had to watch a terrible thing. You need to get it out.
Next week, we will be rating the film as a film and as an adaptation. And I have my fun question time. So we'll see you next week. Have a good time. See you next Friday.
Bye.
Bye now.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode of Flip the Scripts. Flip the Scripts is created, hosted, and produced by Ankit Madeira and Stephen Nyman. Our editor is Ant Cervellin. The art is by Shaktija Madeira, and the music is by Sebastian Hollich. If you would like to support the show, you can do so by heading over to patreon.com/co-op-forge. So that's patreon.com/co_opforge. Sign up for any of the tiers and you get access to various types of bonus content, and it really does help us out a lot of not being in the red while making these episodes for you all. If you want to help out the show in a non-monetary way, that is great as well. You can talk about us on social media. Follow us on social media at co-op-forge, co_opforge on all the various social media platforms. And you can also follow the show directly, Flip the Scripts Pod on Instagram. Be sure to talk about us on social media. It helps us out a lot. Thank you to anyone who has done this already or will do this in the future. And last but not least, if you still want to help out the show, word of mouth is a great way to help support the show and grow the show. Tell a friend, tell a family member about the show. There are 2 guys and they read books and then they go in, they watch the movie, they watch the TV show, they figure out, is it a faithful adaptation or is it just a fun movie but maybe not a faithful adaptation? That's also a possibility. If it's a show that you think they might enjoy, please do recommend it to them. It helps us out a lot. But we are just really thankful that you have tuned in for this episode of Flip the Scripts, and we hope you join us next week for even more tomfoolery. And until then, we'll see y'all later. Bye.